everyone else that I talked to, they have like pretty much predictable winners. They have like UConn, Purdue. I have Creighton winning it all, 3rd seed. But they're doing well so far. In my Final Four, I had Dayton in the Final Four, but like they got out. But I'm still in the 99th percentile right now. So
UConn, because I picked them in my bracket. They've been playing really well this year, so I think that they have a really good chance to win.
I was rooting for Auburn, they lost in the first round, so now I'm rooting for UConn. I was between UConn or Auburn because they would have played each other, and I had Auburn winning that matchup, but they lost, so I just went with the second best team, UConn.
I'm rooting for South Carolina because I said they would win on my bracket, and I want my bracket to win. But besides that, I kind of want UConn to win because they had this like streak of going to the Final Four for like 30-something seasons maybe, and it broke last season. And you know, they're kind of like underdogs, I feel like, because a lot of their players are injured right now.
For my overall like winner for the women's bracket, I have South Carolina. Honestly, like they just are like a really strong, like overall their team is very like consistent, and I really like the way they coach, like their coach. Yeah. But there's a lot of other contenders like LSU and like Texas and so on. Yeah.
UConn's looking good. Purdue's looking good. I think they're playing tonight, so we'll see how that goes. And also Duke's looking pretty solid.
Well, they've beaten all their opponents by like double digits since last year's March Madness, and they're defending champs. And just offensively and defensively, they're a way better team this year than last year. And like they just beat San Diego State by 30 yesterday, and San Diego State's like an insanely good defensive team, and they still ran through them. So I don't think any other team can defensively stop them.
I think South Carolina would probably win, mainly because their team is like not reliant on a single person doing well for their team to succeed. Because if you look at like ESPN's like rankings and stuff like that, most of South Carolina's players aren't in like the top 10 best female basketball players. So I feel like that shows a lot of their team chemistry and how consistent they are, because each player only needs to score like 10 points and their team can still win. While teams such as like Iowa, for example, they're reliant on their best player, Caitlin Clark, on scoring like 30 points a game for them to succeed.
I think Zach Edey from Purdue, because he's really interesting to watch and it's his final chance to win March Madness. He's really tall and scores a ton of points, so yeah, it's really hard to stop him.
Okay, so obviously Caitlin Clark, because she's been breaking records this season, and I would like to see her make a deep run again this year and have some exciting games because she's a fun player to watch. But then also UConn's Paige Bueckers, because personally she's my favorite player, and she's been injured for like 2 seasons, and this is her like first March Madness in like 1.5 years, maybe 1 year, 2 years. So I would like her to like kind of redeem herself and, you know, lead this team, because their team has a lot of injured players right now. And I guess another player I want to watch out for is Juju Watkins, who goes to USC, because she's probably contender for like freshman of the year right now, and she's one of like the best like players, even though she's just a freshman, and she basically led USC to the NCAA tournament. So I like her continue to do that, and I want to see Paige Bueckers and Juju Watkins match up because they're in like the same like quadrant division. Yeah.
Before, I was looking forward to Arizona and UNC, but they both lost, so that was kind of a matchup that everyone was looking forward to, but they lost. But definitely like any powerhouse teams like Purdue, Gonzaga, UConn, Duke, anytime they're playing, it's going to be a fun matchup. Houston too.
I think UConn against Illinois is going to be really interesting because they're 2 very good offensive teams.
I was rooting for UNC versus Arizona, but then they both lost yesterday, so a little bit disappointed in that, but I'm really hoping that I get to see Duke versus Creighton, just because that's who I have in my bracket, and I would like my bracket to do well.
I just said like Paige Bueckers and Juju Watkins. If both of them win their next games, which is tomorrow, I think, I would like to see them match up, because I think they're pretty similar players and their teams are also pretty similar. Another matchup I'm interested in is probably Stanford versus Texas, because Texas has this really talented like freshman forward, and and I would like to see her match up against like Stanford's more experienced forwards and centers like Cameron Brink and Kiki Iriafen.
Hopefully, I really want to see LSU versus Iowa. Again, I think they're both like iconic teams and they're really well known. Like Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark-Glenn would be a really like cool matchup to see.
One of my friends convinced me that McNeese was gonna beat Gonzaga in the first round, and he told our entire advisory that McNeese is gonna win, like go to the Final Four or something. And I believed him, and I had Gonzaga losing to McNeese, but Gonzaga like absolutely blew them out. So I feel like it's really hard to predict upsets, and I don't know, like sure maybe 4th seeds, 5th seeds, but it's kind of hard to predict like 16 over 1 seed or something.
I think the games have been really exciting this year. Not as many upsets as in past years, so that's a bit disappointing because they're fun to watch. I think the Alabama win last night was really cool because they were the overall #1 seed last year, but they didn't make it that far. But this year they performed better against a really good team.
One of the bigger ones was probably like Louisville versus Middle Tennessee, which I somehow predicted, but I don't know how. So that was a really big upset. But like upsets are really hard to predict because they're like I think like especially with like 11 and 12 seeds, like those are they can upset really easily. So yeah.
My guys bracket is doing really well, yeah, and my girls bracket is not doing well.
I had Auburn winning it all, so my main bracket kind of sucks. But my second bracket, where I have UConn winning, that one's doing a little bit better, not amazing, because I just picked other matches I didn't think would actually happen in case they happen. But yeah.